outer space, limitless and timeless, filled with cosmic explosions and endless turbulence. An infinite playground for that occasional blazing visitor, the comet. At first, comets terrified man. He thought they were signals of impending catastrophe. But he got used to them, and he gave names to them, and waited for them to drop by like old friends. This one has come from behind the sun, moving across the heavens at 108,000 miles an hour, and has never before been seen by man. The asteroid belt. A vast junkyard of metal and rock orbiting the sun between Jupiter and Mars. Thousands of fragments, some as small as a fist, some as large as a city. And amongst these, Orpheus, 20 miles in diameter and undisturbed for countless generations, until now.
We're going to have to cut across your bow.
All right. Oh, damn it. We're coming in.
All Mr. Sherwood told me was to get you off that boat and start you on your way to Houston. There's a special jet laid on for you.
You really would have cut across my bows?
Yes, sir.
Then I would have rammed you.
And gone straight to the bottom, sir.
Don't go away. I could be right back.
Dr. Bradley, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
You owe me $10.
I do?
I got my handicap down to 12.
No wonder it's good to see me again.
Yes?
Dr. Bradley's here.
Good. Send him in.
It's yours, Mr. Sherwood.
Oh, good to see you. Come in, come in. Sorry to do this to you.
Not at all.
Yes, I did that. I called Helen and I asked her to send some of your clothes.
Hello, Mr. Sherwood's office.
I,
Oh, I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. I can't.
didn't know that you and she were... You've met General Easton.
Once, Washington. Hi, General.
Good of you to come.
Sam Mason, our cap commander. Peter Watson, our flight director. Why don't you put that down and let me fix you a small scotch?
A large one.
Good.
We could all use one, I think.
Why don't we sit around the table? Take your coat off.
How big is your boat?
52 feet.
An awful lot's been happening here, Paul. And none of it good.
Harry, I left NASA 5 years ago. Why am I back?
Let me tell you. Gentlemen, help yourselves. 7 days ago, Palomar Observatory reported the discovery of a new comet, General. Now, there's nothing unusual in that. They spot at least 9 or 10 every year, either themselves or other observatories. But it's where this one seemed to be going.
The asteroid belt.
Go on.
When they called me, it was a couple of 100,000 miles from the belt, give or take a few. Challenger 2, our space probe to Mars, was in the vicinity. General Easton's son, Tom, was commanding. We got in touch with them. And then I changed their program. That was last Friday.
Challenger 2, do you read me?
We read you.
How do you feel about making a slight detour?
Anything to break the monotony. What do you call slight?
2 days, 4 hours, and 32 minutes.
What happens to our schedule?
Don't concern yourself about that, Tom. We'll take care of everything from here. But your lunch with Mars will have to wait.
Whatever you say. Where are we going?
The asteroid belt.
That's affirmative.
What for?
There's a comet about to go through it.
Go through there all the time.
It's a first for this one. We figured it was wrenched out of orbit by Jupiter's gravitational pull.
How big is this comet?
480 kilometers in diameter, which makes its nucleus large enough to do some real damage if it hits anything. I said it's straight toward Orpheus. That's the big one in the center.
Where do you want us to park?
Park yourselves alongside Vesta, about 25,000 kilometers this side. You'll be there 3 hours before the comet shows. We want all the information you can give us on its size and orbital elements.
Take a few pictures?
A lot of pictures. We've already started things going down here, so you'll be changing course in about 5 minutes.
Is my old man with you?
He's here.
Tell him hello.
Will do.
As I said before, that was last Friday. Yesterday, Sunday morning at 1100 hours, they started to pull up alongside Vespa.
You got it?
Yes, we've got it. Can you zoom in on Orpheus for us?
Can do.
Beautiful. All right, let's have some information.
We'll take some measurements.
For the next hour and a half, they read the belt for us. And then what we're waiting for finally appeared.
Magnetic field measuring 0. All scientific sensors and particle detectors are saturated.
We'll go straight through like a dose of salt. It's gonna hit!
Away from there.
coming apart in a million pieces.
I don't think I can ever forgive myself. I should have figured that it was...
No guilt, Harry. We'd all have given the same orders.
Who knows about this?
Nobody at the moment. But we're going to have to put out a release right after this meeting.
Why am I here?
There's a chunk of Orpheus heading towards Earth, a pretty big one. There are a lot of little pieces coming along with it and in front of it. But it's the big one we're worried about. The figures haven't been worked out yet, but 6 days from now, we could be hit. We have to be prepared to divert.
That is precisely why we put Hercules up there.
Will you let me finish? I've convened a meeting at NASA headquarters in Washington for tomorrow morning. Lucas, Steinberg, Fillmore, some of the others that you know will be there. I want you to come to that meeting.
I'll come to your meeting.
We appreciate it, Paul. Thanks. I've delayed a commercial flight. You're leaving in 1 hour. Up-to-date material on Hercules. Something for you to read on the plane. You'll be met at the other end. Your hotel room has been booked. And Gladys out there has your expense arrangements.
Why don't you stick a broom up my ass? I could sweep the carpet on the way out.
Haven't changed, have you?
See you in the morning.
The Coast Guard towed a disgruntled Ron Samuelson back into harbor. Among the other 9 who failed to finish was Dr. Peterson's Maverick from Seattle, who was disqualified for crossing the line prior to start. John Slavin's Mary B. collided with Arnold Parker's Swan. Both boats suffered sufficient damage to withdraw. The big surprise of the day was Paul Bradley's Blithe Spirit, which withdrew for no apparent reason early in the race. John Dunning had a running battle with Bruce County.
I know it's late. I just wanted to...
Paul, where are you? Why aren't you on the boat?
Washington. How are the kids?
Oh, Jimmy's got a cold, and Julie's bound to get it, and we're still fighting about homework. Apart from that, they're fine. What are you doing in Washington?
I'm not sure yet. I was just phoning to let you know where I am and...
How are you?
Oh, I bet you know. Paul?
Tell the kids I love them.
There's a chunk of Orpheus heading towards Earth, a pretty big one. There are a lot of little pieces coming along with it and in front of it, but it's the big one we're worried about. The figures haven't been worked out yet, but 6 days from now, we could be hit. Sorry I'm late.
You and everybody else.
Let me tell you about that, Paul.
Either we're in the wrong room, or there's a lot of brain power lost somewhere in Washington.
Nobody else is coming.
Lucas, Fillmore, Steinberg.
I didn't ask them.
Why not?
You know damn well why not. Because we don't need them. You originated Hercules. Well, I'll cut it out, Paul. I know how you feel. But dredging up old feelings...
I don't have to dredge up nothing. I can taste it right now.
Now, look. It wasn't my decision to turn Hercules...
Turn Hercules into what? What did they turn it into?
Will you listen to me?
Hercules was never designed to be a nuclear weapon with 14 warheads pointing right down on Russia.
Not only Russia.
Or China, wherever the hell else. Those rockets were supposed to point outwards, not in. It was meant to defend us against the same goddamn threat that we're facing now.
Wait a minute now. Didn't I yell at them?
Yeah.
Didn't I stand up for you when you walked out? Well, then listen to me. Will you listen to me? That meteor is 5 miles wide, and it's definitely going to hit us. It'll make a hole big enough to put the Atlantic in unless we can stop it.
Shit. 5 miles.
Now, walk out.
But what about General Adlon? Isn't he still in charge of Hercules?
Adlon's a good man, technically. But he's two-dimensional, you know that. We've got to find a way to move him out. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, there are about 100 guys in this crazy town stupid enough to want to resist using Hercules because of what it would mean politically.
What the hell am I supposed to do about that?
Help me ride over them.
Okay, you son of a bitch. I'll help you, but I want it straight up and down.
Straight up and down, you've got my word. Those rockets have got to be realigned, and we've got exactly 5 days.
Ему понадобилось 3 года, чтобы уничтожить Сталинград. А наш приятель, что там наверху, за 2 секунды может превратить пол России в одну огромную Сибирь. И хотя я так люблю Сибирь. Осторожней, Дубов. Если бы Детстрой мог бы позволить, нам следовало бы связаться по телефону с НАСА.
Ни при каких обстоятельствах нельзя устанавливать контакт с Соединенными Штатами, пока возможные последствия не будут обсуждены с председателем.
I hope no one has been foolish enough to make contact with the Russians about all this. It would be highly inadvisable if...
No one would think of doing that without your approval, Mr. Secretary. But you can be sure they know all there is to know about that meteor by now. What they probably don't know is what we're planning to do.
What we're discussing doing. Because I sincerely hope it's still discussion.
General Adlon, I assure you that no decisions have been made. That's what this meeting's been called for, to decide what to do. Now, you're in charge of Project Hercules, and if the result of this meeting is to make use of
There's nothing else we can use. The only thing we've got out there is Hercules.
Damn it. Hercules is not up there either, as far as anybody but we are concerned. And it's got to stay that way. We have never admitted to Hercules. And if we admit to it
We
now...
have to. You can't keep the whole world in the dark about what's going on. Once they know that a 5-mile hunk of rock is going to hit somewhere at 30,000 miles per hour, the people will want to know what the hell we intend to do about it.
You're going to tell the entire world we have nuclear rockets orbiting out there in direct contradiction to every international agreement we've ever made? That's an invitation to being called liars and warmongers by
international
every
murderers
nation
if we don't. What do you want to do? You want to go out there and meet it with BB guns and slingshots?
Please, gentlemen. Dr. Bradley, would you please tell us what would happen if this meteor struck us?
A massive rock, 1 mile wide, traveling at 30,000 miles per hour, would cause a crater 50 miles across and 5 miles deep. Orpheus is 5 miles wide. Its striking force is equal to 2,500,000 megatons of TNT. That is 10 orders of magnitude above the largest earthquake ever recorded. It would throw into the atmosphere 5 billion tons of Earth and reduce solar radiation for decades to come, it could cause another ice age.
What if the thing doesn't hit? There's some chance of that, isn't there?
Every scientific facility we have...
You have been wrong before. You were dead wrong when you sent Challenger 2 off its course.
God damn it, I don't have to listen to this.
Gentlemen, please.
Gentlemen, you're out of order. Eddie, gentlemen.
Dr. Bradley, where are you going?
I need air. I don't give a damn what Russia says about America, or vice versa. I told you what's going to happen when that meteor hits. But if you think you can prevent it by burying your heads under a blanket of shit, fine. If you ever reach a decision, I'll be in the bar across the street.
I'll get back to you. I'll have to discuss this at the White House.
In time. Because there's damn little time.
We are now going to replay a recording of a broadcast made by them earlier today.
The British Cabinet met this morning to discuss the announcement by Jodrell Bank Observatory that a piece of an asteroid knocked out of orbit by a comet is on possible collision course with Earth. It would seem that within less than a week, this giant object could strike our planet, causing untold damage and great loss of life. It is understood that the Prime Minister is in close consultation with the American President and has volunteered every assistance the British government can give.
We consider it deplorable that the American people should be dependent on the BBC to supply us with facts that we have a right to know.
I consider it deplorable I don't have a drink.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Scotch.
A large one.
A large one. What happened?
They're calling the president.
What if he says no?
A couple of years ago, my son Andy started to complain about pains in his stomach. All the junk food kids eat today, I wasn't a bit surprised. But he kept on complaining. So I had a talk with Miriam, and we decided to take him to a doctor. Just for an opinion, you understand. Appendicitis, the doctor said. Miriam said, let's wait till tomorrow. The pain will go away. You know my Miriam. She can't stand the thought of an operation. That night when she went to bed, she cried herself to sleep. I went to the boys' room, picked him up, and took him to a hospital. 6 hours later, his appendix was out. He was feeling better, having an ice cream, and Miriam was all smiles. You get my point?
But how do you sneak me into a position where I can fire off a dozen nuclear warheads without Miriam knowing?
I'll do it. I can't do it any other way.
Is there Mr. Sherwood here?
Yeah, that's me.
Telephone. You can take it right through there.
Thanks.
The pass intended for Thurman, a good pass in the flat, knocked down by Carter, somewhere around the 20-yard line. So, it remains second and 10 for Miller. It was a very well planned play. Trying to figure something out.
No, Mr. Secretary, I'd rather not call back. I'd appreciate it if you held on. Yes, Dr. Bradley's checking out the information to verify. Yes, sir, I do think it's urgent. No, sir. Paul.
In a minute.
It's coming up now, sir. Well, what do I tell him?
How good is his health?
Confirmed?
Confirmed. Hercules is light.
Mr. Secretary, it's been confirmed.
So what you're telling me is that even if we admit to Hercules, and I give you my permission to realign the rockets, we still need more firepower, more nuclear megatonnage, more rockets?
That's right, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. Secretary, do we have more rockets?
Not in space, sir.
Then what the hell are we supposed to do? Conjure them out of air?
Mr. President, would you confirm what I'm about to say? The Russians have their own equivalent of Hercules out in space. True or not true?
True.
Mr. President, we need the combined power of theirs and ours.
They'll never admit they've got the thing.
We'll make them admit it.
How?
General Adlon, for the time being, until this crisis is resolved, I'm putting Dr. Bradley in charge of Operation Hercules. I rely on you to give him every aid and assistance.
Mr. President, I hope I'm public-spirited enough to do what...
I'm sure you are. Now listen, I think I have a solution to this problem. Where will you be later this evening?
We're flying to New York immediately.
Make sure you hear my broadcast at 8 o'clock. That's all, gentlemen. Thank you. You're going to ask what steps have been taken to make sure that this meteor never comes anywhere near the Earth's surface. And I'm happy to tell you that realizing that such an emergency as this could arise, your government, in collaboration with the best scientific brains at its disposal, developed the project to deal with this emergency. And that project has been named Hercules. What is Hercules?
Hercules is an armed orbiting satellite. Its nuclear weaponry aimed toward outer space.
Right name, wrong direction.
What can Hercules do? It can send at the press of a button enough power to destroy any foreign body on a collision course with our planet. But in this case, a special circumstance has arisen. The meteor is of such size and velocity that even this powerful weapon cannot do the job entirely. But fortunately, the Russians, with the same foresight that we ourselves possessed, also mounted their own defense weapon. We do not know what the Russians have called their weapon, but we know it exists. And we are going to ask them to combine their nuclear power with ours, so that together we will be able to deal with the meteor, to strike it with irresistible force, and to end forever its potential danger to us all. I will myself be speaking with the Russians immediately after I finish this broadcast.
The game is on.
Good night. And God bless you.
Американцы выбрали себе в президенты алхимика. Он прекрасно умеет превращать лицемерие в дипломатию. Этот алхимик будет нам сейчас звонить. Я полагаю, что нужно дать ему возможность начать переговоры, в которых вы, товарищ Дубов, будете принимать самое близкое участие. Но нужно помнить, что это будут только обсуждения.
Волга вот-вот выйдет из берегов, а мы все обсуждаем способы плавания.
Алло?
This is Dr. Bradley. Do you have a pass for him?
Morning, sir.
General Adlon come in yet?
Half an hour ago.
How far down?
Right next to an old subway station, a section that runs under the Hudson. It made it easy for us to bring all the equipment in. Nobody saw us, and it saved millions.
Why not some sensible place like Houston?
This is easy access to a total telecommunications setup right above our heads. And nobody in their right minds would think of putting their most important emergency striking power under the busiest city in the world. This is Dr. Bradley.
Can I see your pass, sir? Would you mind signing it, sir? Thank you.
Command to internal. Agena, umbilical enable.
Pod of Central Control. Call 8124.
Yes, back to the bus chief. We're about 45 seconds. Register 2.
Practice exercise number 41.
On internal power.
Scheduled for 16:30.
General Adlon, most impressive.
Thank you. I have a message for you. Normally we work at 25, but since it's been called an emergency, I brought in the full crew.
Oh, good news. The Russians are coming.
I would like to go on record that I consider allowing the Russians to come into this center to be a grave error, which one day the United States may bitterly regret.
I'd like to meet some of the staff.
Of course.
General, may I use your office for a moment?
Certainly. This way. This is our chief technician, Rolf Mannheim.
Dr. Bradley, you have been teaching a nephew of mine at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Ben Mannheim?
Yes.
Well, he's a bright boy.
Thank you.
Teaching me in a couple of years.
All stations, give status now.
This is our trajectory analysis officer, John Watkins.
Hello.
Hello. Suppose you're tied into 1180.
No, a 360 with a custom-designed memory.
All stations,
Like I said, I'll be asking you and your computer a lot of questions.
We're going to give you a lot of prompt answers.
Triple check.
My assistant, Alan Marshall.
Dr. Bradley? Sorry to interrupt. I've got Sir Michael Hughes from the Jodrell Bank Observatory on the monitor. He would like a word with you.
Excuse me.
I'm Bill Hunter, in charge of tracking.
Aye. What else are you linked with besides England?
Hong Kong, Arecibo, and New South Wales.
Good morning, Michael.
Good evening, Paul. I didn't expect to see you until Wimbledon. Assuming, of course, there'll be a Wimbledon.
What have you got for us?
We can expect the first splinters in 24 hours. Doubtful if we could track them unless they're in clusters, but we'll do our best.
Anything else?
Nothing at the moment, no. I just wanted to make contact with you. We'll keep in constant touch. Until then.
Paul, the Russian astrophysicist that you asked for?
Dr. Dubov?
He's arriving at 7:30 this evening, Washington.
Dr. Dubov, are we glad to see you here?
Доктор Дубов, они очень рады вас видеть здесь.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Eastern Standard. Roger. 22:47:56.55.
Я полагаю, что это точная модель вашего спутника. Его ориентация.
He presumes this is an accurate replica of your satellite and its alignment.
Или, может быть, такое направление ракет. Простая случайность.
Or is the direction of the rocket just accidental?
I'm not prepared to volunteer such strategic information.
Пожалуйста.
Спасибо. Он не готов сам выдать такую стратегическую информацию.
Is that what I said?
Yes, sir.
Какую несет ударную силу?
Please.
Thank you. What striking power does it carry?
I'd prefer you got that information from Dr. Bradley.
Он хочет, чтобы доктор Брэдли ответил.
Good morning. 14 rockets, each carrying a 100 megaton bomb.
14 ракет, и на каждой по бомбе 100 мегатонн.
Welcome to New York, Dr. Dubov. I'm glad you're here.
Вас приветствует, рады, что вы здесь.
Must we have everything in duplicate?
It's a recognized procedure. How else do we know we're being interpreted properly?
Здесь так принято, а то как же они будут знать, что их правильно переводят?
I think we could all start by trusting each other.
Он думает, здесь все доверяют друг другу.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Если нет, то и говорить не о чем.
And if it's a matter of choosing,
А если уж выбирать,
I'll take the pretty one.
то он предпочитает красивую женщину.
The pretty one is Tatiana Nikolaevna Donskaya. Did I say it right?
Very good.
Astrophysicist and Dr. Dubov's English voice.
How do you do?
How do you do?
And the captain there, he's General Adlon's Russian voice.
Sir?
Aye.
And since it appears we're redundant here, if you'll excuse us. Mr. Sherwood, I'd like to see you outside.
I'll see if I can't calm him down.
He thinks General Adlon is not pleased to see him.
General, I know this is difficult for you, but I would appreciate
Mr. Sherwood, 15 minutes ago, I spoke to the Secretary of Defense, who seems more aware of the complexity of the situation than you do.
But the Secretary...
His orders are, and I quote, there will be no change in the direction of our rockets until the Russians admit they've got their own rockets, and until they also agree to realign them. Is that understood?
Look, why don't you Xerox 100 copies of that report, pass them out among 100 guys in Washington, and then organize 100 meetings to discuss it. And by that time, the meteor will have hit, and we won't have any more problems.
Я не собираюсь критиковать, но вам нелегко будет поразить метеор боеголовками, направленными на СССР.
He doesn't mean to criticize, but you will not find it easy to hit a meteor with your warheads pointing towards the USSR.
We call ours Hercules. What do you call yours?
Они называют свой спутник Геркулесом. А как называется ваш?
Как можно называть то, чего нет?
How can one give a name to that which does not exist?
Then who the hell put up this thing called Peter the Great? Its warheads pointing to the United States?
Тогда кто же назвал его Петром Великим? Его боеголовки нацелены на Америку.
Возможно, китайцы.
Chinese, perhaps.
Dr. Dubov, we've got a slight problem.
У них проблема.
If Peter the Great does not exist, we are out of business.
Если Петра Великого нет, то делать нечего.
But if it does exist,
А если бы он существовал,
I'd have to know what weapons it would be carrying,
им нужно знать, какое на нем было бы оружие,
where it was,
где бы оно находилось,
and what frequencies we would have to use to align it with Hercules.
и на каких частотах они могли бы координировать его с Геркулесом.
Now, for purposes of discussion only.
И только для обсуждения.
Я понимаю важность ваших вопросов.
He understands the importance of your questions.
Если бы я участвовал в создании такого незаконного оружия...
If he had been involved in the construction of such an illegal weapon...
Разумеется, я мог бы на них теоретически ответить.
He could then, of course, theoretically, answer those questions.
Then, would you be prepared, theoretically, of course,
Тогда готовы ли вы, разумеется, теоретически,
to work out the details with me as to how we link the satellites?
разработать с ним детали согласования действий спутников?
Theoretically. Да, я готов.
Yes, he would be ready.
Before we do that,
Прежде всего,
what would you have designed your striking power to be?
какую бы вы запроектировали ударную силу?
16 ракет. По столько же мегатонн на каждый, как и у вас.
16 rockets, each carrying megatonnage, the same as your own.
That gives $1 billion plus.
Это дало бы им еще миллиард.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
I give the floor to the first speaker on my list, the representative of Canada.
We have information that a disturbance of earthquake proportions has occurred somewhere in Siberia. I believe that all of us here are aware of that fact. But would the Russian delegate kindly tell us what was the cause of the disturbance?
Mr. President, we would like to request a recess while we consult further with our government.
Processed data records from yesterday's Johnville Bank Pass are now available in Master Data Library.
At my next market will be 2300, and we are in routine telemetry test number 36.
Good morning. Did you get any sleep last night?
A couple of hours. How about you?
I played gin rummy and lost. What's the Russian girl like?
Very nice, very bright, and forget it.
I missed you.
We are approaching X plus 6 minutes on the attitude control test AC-21, and all station monitors are green.
With compliments. I had them strip the army blanket off your bed and put on some proper sheets.
That's very kind.
I've also got some decent soap for you, because using the stuff they give you here is like washing your hands with a rock.
Thank you. That's a very pretty scarf.
Thank you.
Will Jim Jackson please report to Central Security Office?
Je tako star, ako spatnu.
His hours are all confused.
How about you?
Oh, I'm all right.
Subsystem analysis team will review attitude control, power problems, at 0800 tomorrow in conference room. Quick look tapes can be read out in Hercules CDP 462.
Linda Watt, please report to support room number 1.
Shall I wake him?
No, let him sleep. Have some coffee.
Stored commands for attitude control update are programmed in Hercules.
How long have you been with him?
I've known him for 10 years, but I've only worked with him for 5.
Why did you choose astrophysics?
He chose me.
How?
I was a telephone operator at a center for control of flight in the Cosmodrome Baikonur in Middle Asia. I knew your language because when I was a child, my mother kept giving me books in English and telling me that one day I would be grateful to her. I suppose I am. Would you like one of these?
No, thanks. Go on.
Then about 10 years ago, some British scientists came to Russia to meet with some of our people. Alexei Alexeyevich, our sleeping beauty, needed someone to translate for him. And they asked me.
His English voice.
When I had finished, he asked me to stay on with him as interpreter and third assistant. He was married to Olga Alexeyevna then, his first wife.
How many does he have?
He's on his 4th. He's sleeping alone now, but it's not very often.
You know, it's very nice talking with you.
Thank you. But we've been talking for almost 2 days.
No, I've been talking with you, Dubov. I mean talking with you. Very attractive.
Thank you again.
Then?
Ben?
Astrophysics.
Oh. Well, I realized that space fascinated me. Alexei Alexeyevich saw this, and he encouraged me. He arranged for me to go to university. And when I returned, I was an astrophysicist. That's when I met my husband.
Your husband?
He was a cosmonaut. We were together for 3 years. And then he went on an exploratory mission, and he didn't come back.
And now? Is there anyone?
Nothing serious. Not really.
Dr. Bradley, Sir Michael is reporting on the Jadro Bank monitor. There are meteors coming in over Central Europe.
Paul. The observatory in Frascati is reporting. There's a cluster big enough to track coming in over Italy south of Pisa. Speed of approach 15,000 meters per second.
favor, continue.
They've burnt up. The cluster's evaporated. Frascati says that not one of them got through.
The whole thing's been nothing more than a gigantic fireworks display.
Thank you, Michael. That's the best news we've had yet.
We'll try and keep it that way.
James,
Bradley? I think we can assume the emergency's over. This particular one and the emergency in general. It's a pity the world's been sent into a state of unnecessary panic. But there's your threat, Dr. Bradley. A fireworks display.
Tell this asshole once and for all, Orpheus will not burn up. It's too damn big.
We've got enough to deal with here, General. We don't need any additional aggravation from you.
Not one promise of calamity has come true. And as far as I'm concerned, not a single one will. When common sense is restored, and the President has returned the control of this center to me, I shall return to this center.
Но каких же пор все это будет так продолжаться? Да что же это такое, черт возьми? Я позвоню им посольство и скажу пару теплых слов. Идете, дурни бездумные.
He wishes to telephone the Russian embassy in Washington.
USSR is not unaware of the seriousness of the situation. We have therefore decided to add to the power of Hercules the considerable power that we ourselves possess. A satellite developed before the United States developed theirs, but which we designed and constructed for the purpose of defense against possible disasters such as the one confronting us now. For that purpose only. The USSR will always support any exercise, the primary object of which is to the benefit of mankind.
To Peter the Great. And to the Russian scissors for the cutting of the red tape.
За Петра Великого.
Peter the Great.
Я хочу сказать пару слов по-английски. Я их услышал от таксиста.
Dr. Dubov would like to tell you a few words he heard from a taxi driver when he was last in America.
Book the Dodgers!
Attitude correction complete. Situation nominal.
Ориентация закончена. Положение нормальное.
Comsat, this is Goldstone. We have a realignment interrupt. Repeat, realignment interrupt. Please copy.
Possible readjustment malfunction. Deployment latch relay on rocket number 3 may be hung up.
We'll have to reset, send up a backup command, and update the guidance system to account for the delayed firing time.
Roger.
Covariance matrix has been recalculated.
All other Hercules primary and backup systems are ready.
Attitude correction complete. Situation nominal.
Now we wait till we see the whites of its eyes.
0700 Sunday.
Fabrizio, un momentino.
Maria,
compra eine Tasse Kaffee.
Hallo. Ich komme schon.
Beeil dich, der Kaffee wird kalt.
Morgen schlafen mit. Ihr hättet mit sein müssen. Es war weich wie Seide.
8 hours since the splinter struck the central area of the Swiss Alps. But only now has the enormity of what has happened begun to sink in. There's never been anything like this before. There have been avalanches and storms which have destroyed whole villages. But nothing on the scale of what has happened here today. Help is coming from all over the world. Ambulances, helicopters, rescue equipment and supplies. Dead casualties are being taken quickly to churches and town halls. Those still alive are rushed to hospitals for resuscitation and treatment. So many skiers and holidaymakers here at this time of the year, and so many of them are unregistered, there's no way of telling who they are. It is earnestly requested that anyone who has reason to believe that friends or relatives of theirs have been staying in this area during the last few weeks should go immediately to the Swiss emergency offices that have been opened up in Bahnhofstrasse, Zurich. The whole tragedy has been heightened by the loss of 12,000 contestants in the cross-country marathon which started from Maloja only an hour before the splinter hit. The cameraman and crew who shot this film left the area by helicopter only minutes before the disaster. In the minds of the people everywhere, the question is, where next? And what about the big one, due on Sunday, closing on Earth at 30,000 miles an hour? We can only hope, as the President of the United States of America has assured us, that we are in safe hands. This is Osmond Ragib in Zurich, returning you to the ABC studios in New York.
God. As simply as you can, Mr. Sherwood. What's the procedure now?
The satellites are orbiting with Earth 22,500 miles out in space. Since they are in different orbits, and in order for them to reach the target together, they will have to be fired at different times. Peter the Great first, and then 40 minutes later, Hercules. Approximately 2 hours after that, they will explode at a designated distance from the target.
Can anything go wrong?
Well, once the rockets have been launched, they switch over to their own internal decision-making systems. And if these systems perform perfectly, well, then there's no problem. But if there's a malfunction...
What are the odds?
Mr. President, you know we've never done this before. The odds? Your guess is as good as mine.
If you fail?
The meteor will hit Earth 2 hours later.
Hit it, Mr. Sherwood. Get rid of it.
What is it? What's happened?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. I just wondered if you had taken time to eat.
Yes, I had some coffee.
That will only make you nervous. You would do better with food.
You're absolutely right. Let's go eat. It's a pretty scarf.
Thank you. How many children do you have?
2, boy and a girl. How do you know I'm married?
I asked Mr. Sherwood. He also told me that you and your wife are separated.
I'll have to have a talk with Mr. Sherwood.
Oh, I hope you don't mind that I asked him about you.
I would have asked Dr. Dubov about yourself, except, well, my Russian's somewhat limited. Like some coffee?
No, thank you.
What else do you want to know?
It would be too rude to ask.
Ask what you like.
Why are you and your wife separated?
Nothing specific. It just happened. It's no more talks, no more interests together. It's what we here in America call incompatibility.
That's what we call it in Russia. Nesovmestimость.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Ever thought of living elsewhere?
No. Not often.
Sometimes.
Well.
You'd like it here, you know. We've got everything. Power cuts, strikes, unemployment, race riots, and a terrific crime rate.
Dr. Bradley, Yamashiro on the Hong Kong monitor reporting another splinter.
Yes, quiet.
We've just received a transmission from a TWA passenger jet over the Pacific. There was an explosion somewhere at sea heavy enough to knock out 2 of its engines. The plane's heading for Taiwan to make an emergency landing. They've reported a tidal wave 100 feet high heading directly towards Hong Kong.
各位市民注意，各位市民注意，在15分鐘之內將有大海嘯襲港，在15分鐘之內將有大海嘯襲港，即刻離開陸地，走到教科地帶，即刻離開陸地，走到教科地帶。保持冷靜，我講聲，保持冷靜。
Radar contact with the wave establishes height stabilized at 100 feet plus. Speed is constant, 600 miles an hour. 15 minutes before it hits us.
各位市民注意，各位市民注意。
「
No use. Get the big one, Paul. Get it.
"15 minutes from now, the Russian rockets will be launched. And 40 minutes after, our own rockets will be sent to join them. They will strike the Meteor, sending it into a harmless orbit, never more to menace Earth. It is Sunday. Stay in your homes. Have faith. There is nothing we can do but wait. We will let you know when the danger is past."
Launch director says go. Range says clear to launch. Clear. Roger, stand by for clear release. Clear release, on time.
Station S2 copy, clear release was on.
Autopilot ready light on. Thank you. 30 seconds.
Coder, we have a counter to it in. Roger, thank you. What's the event registered reading?
25 seconds. 0614.
Roger, thank you.
20 seconds. Engine start. 15 seconds.
Engines have started. We are T-minus 11.
10 seconds.
11 seconds.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Ignition. Lift off.
No problems. We're on our way.
Все в порядке. Мы уже в пути.
Ой, мои детки. Эй, дети. Miss Donskaya, would you please be good enough to convey my congratulations to Dr. Dubov?
Генерал Адлон вас поздравляет.
Affirmative, I will.
My apologies, Bradley. I was very wrong. If there's anything I can do to help,
Thank you.
I'll be in my office if you need me.
Hercules launch, -3 minutes.
All stations report on Hercules firing readiness.
Vessel power operating at correct level. Engine parameters all okay. Hercules targeted correctly.
All ground facilities have confirmation that Hercules has correctly received and stored the launch command.
Yes, Sir Michael.
I'm afraid I've got some rather serious news. I'd like a word with Dr. Bradley.
Yes, sir. Dr. Bradley, Sir Michael would like to talk to you.
We've picked up another splinter. A big one.
Direction?
The United States. The eastern seaboard.
You mean us?
Near enough.
Due when?
Just about now. Can you advance, Hercules?
No way. Stand by.
Coming up on 90 seconds. Counting. Stand by. Mark, 90 seconds.
We wait.
We don't fire them, Paul, and we go out of action.
RF ready.
The Russian rockets aren't enough to do the job.
We wait.
Clear release, on time.
Houston S, you copy. Clear release was on time.
55 seconds.
Thank you.
Autopilot red light on. Seconds, counting. Seconds, counting.
We have counter to the Roger, thank you. What's the event ready?
20 seconds.
go up.
Don't worry. Come on. All right, let me just get...
Take a look.
This is Ops Chief Goldstone reporting to Houston backup. Motor burns on all rocket engines for both satellites appear nominal.
Easton again. The situation is A1, all rockets functional. 66 minutes to impact.
We'll keep relaying information until conclusion. There's been absolutely no contact from New York. Have you heard from them?
Nothing from the center.
The rest of the city's a shambles.
No way.
Dr. Bradley, could you come here a minute, please?
Now listen to me, everybody, and listen carefully. The exit from the canteen has been blocked. But we can get out through the support room, and we'll need some flashlights. You head up the lead, and I'll pick up the stragglers.
Everybody head for the subway tunnel.
Where are the batteries? Have you got batteries for this flashlight?
Here, take this. Hold on to this. Take this flashlight. Here, do this one.
Take my flashlight.
Come on. The rest of you stay where you are.
telemetry indicates number 4 and number 7 rockets have malfunctioned.
Goldstone Tracking Station reports Peter the Great has lost 2.
How bad is that?
There's a safety margin of 5.
After the rockets join up, they'll attack the Meteor in 3 waves.
Time to impact 35 minutes, 42 seconds.
Harry, it's okay, but there's a subway car blocking the tunnel.
Get the others.
Breaking through.
Through that car! Hurry up! This way out here, to the car, right here! Hurry up! Through the car!
Come on. 14 minutes to impact. 14 minutes.
$10. We're losing one from Hercules. Time to impact, 13 minutes, 29 seconds.
Когда-нибудь вы приедете в Москву, вы увидите настоящее метро.
What was that?
He said, one day you will come to Moscow and you will see a clean subway.
One day I'll take him up on that. How long? 3 minutes.
Minutes, 50 seconds. Tracking stations report no more loss. Keep your fingers crossed.
Helicopters flying over the city are reporting tremendous damage. All local radio and television stations are still not functioning. Here at WADW in New Jersey, we'll keep you informed throughout the day.
Any second now.
our coverage of the New York disaster to bring you an official announcement just received from Houston. 3 minutes ago, at 10:38, the combined rockets of the United States and the USSR struck the meteor, which has for 5 days been coming towards us. The danger is past.
Hast es mineral?
Quiet down, everybody. Listen, listen.
With the compliments of the Dodgers.
Подарок от команды Dodgers.
Dodgers. Baseball. Возможно, вы ждете сюда.
Может быть.
In 1968, at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a plan was designed to deal with the possibility of a giant meteor on a collision course with Earth. This plan is named Project Icarus.